go back 80.
All right, let's get this show started. Hey, where's an IT guy when you need it? That's right here.
How many things does IT guys do?
All right. Well, while we're doing this, why don't you guys, because I have to reboot, tell them one of your favorite memories, Griffin. Entertain us.
I think my favorite memory would be when we went to the village in the bush, and that was when all the kids were there for the first time. And we got off the bus, and there was like 80 kids there waiting to go play with us. That was pretty amazing.
My favorite experience was when we went to the church in Sai and we get to play with all the kids and show them all the balls.
My favorite memory was watching the soccer game in Sai. My favorite memory was probably also when we went to the bush. It's like super not what we're used to here. And you can just see like all the joy on the kids' faces that they get from just playing with a few balls.
My favorite memory was probably playing our soccer game in their school grounds because there's a big tree in the middle and we're between two buildings and it's all dirt with stumps and potholes and the goals were 2 bricks, just a little space away from each other, so that was pretty cool.
My favorite memory was probably playing basketball so like we went to this school and then they had like kind of a basketball court, but it wasn't like an actual basketball court. So then we got on a bus and we went a little bit and we went to a real basketball court and we took a couple of the kids from the school and we played basketball with them there, but they beat us really bad.
I also loved going to the bush, just seeing how different it is, and it was life-changing.
I just remember playing with this one kid, and he was like a beast at volleyball, and he just was destroying me, so that was really fun.
When we went to the church in Sai, there was a little girl there, and my favorite memory is just trying to figure out her name, and she kept saying it was Ditto, but nobody like knew why it was that, and we later found out that she was a twin, which is why she was called Ditto.
All right, this was the bus here when we were getting there. This is the bus that we took to Toronto. This is when we got to the Toronto airport. This was everybody after we got up in the hotel. My group got up late, so we were worried that we were going to miss the plane or something. This was when we first got to Uganda. It was really hot, and everybody was still in their sweatshirt and sweatpants. So we started stripping down as soon as we got there. This is when we first got on the bus. This is the bus that we took everywhere. We were always crammed in there wherever we went. We had some very long bus rides here, and it was very bumpy, and it hurt really bad.
This is Mama Sarah's house, right when we got there, right when we opened the gate, and that's just the front yard and then entrance. And this is the backyard of Mama Sarah's. All the girls sleeping in their room right when we got to Mama Sarah's because we were all very tired. This is all of us taking a group nap in the living room.
This is the kitchen. Everything there's like wood pallets and you sit on the floor when you eat there.
How about those meals?
Okay, the meals were like fantastic, and Mama Sarah made all of them like by scratch every day. This is us
This is the girls doing crafts with the girls there at Mama Sarah's house who made like bracelets. And these are the roads. You see, like this is like this is a road like a block away from Mama Sarah's house. It's just terrible.
So, from Mama Sarah's house, like up top, the roads are like pretty high quality, but the lower you get, the worse quality they get. And this is, we walk down to go to the church, and you can see how there's almost not even a road there when we walk down farther. And this is all of us for the first time at the church that Mama Sarah's husband is the pastor at. Oh, and this is Nathan, who was one of the adults on our trip with us. That's him getting blessed by the pastors at Christ Church during the service. And this is a video of dancers.
That was how their children celebrated. Every fourth Sunday, their children's ministry dances for the crowd. I'm not sure why we don't have the music, but that's okay. We got the idea.
So this is one of the classrooms in the school that we visited on one of the first days. I mean, you can see it's not like our classrooms in America. This is their playground at the school. It's just a swing, and back here is actually raw sewage, right? Yeah. And then those are just some of the kids at the school that are playing with the footballs and soccer balls that we brought there.
This is Addie at the school leading a game of Simon Says. This is their soccer field. There's a goal over here, and it's just 2 bricks, and there's a goal at the far end, and it's just 2 bricks, and all the windows on the far building are either broken or soon to be broken, and the tree was in the way. It was in like the center of the field. This is the basketball court at the school. So this is like the first basketball court that we went to, and they just have the rim is just a laundry basket with the bottom cut out of it. And then this is the taxi that we took to the real basketball court.
This is where we went to the basketball court. It's a little nicer. It has paved, but there's still no nets. This was the team that was really good. They destroyed our team. This is Paul. He is Mama Sarah's foster kid now. We had to make the decision to either send him back to his home or have Mama Sarah keep him because he was sent to her to work for her, and he was only 16. So we went to the bush and visited his house. This is where we were greeted at the bush. These were all like the gazillion kids that we played with, and we brought them balls and stuff, and they were so overjoyed with even something that we just take for granted here. And it also takes 2 months of pay to a salary to get 1 ball.
Oh, she has a baby on her back. This is them all lined up. I think they're we're playing tag or something with the ball, or like passing a ball or something. Oh, that's me. They would just all join in like your picture. So like one would pull you over and be like, "Let's take a picture," and then they'd all just pile in. It was so fun. This is us throwing a ball. They could just do anything with the balls. They had a blast. Oh, okay. So they really like to get thrown in the air. I'm pretty sure all the guys got like 10 times stronger that day. It was crazy.
This is the inside of their church there, so everybody kind of gathered at the end of our day, and we gifted them with a couple duffel bags full of like clothes and jerseys and extra balls and everything, and just let them know that we were leaving all of that there for them to play with and have, which made everybody really happy.
So, Adam, will you explain a little bit about going to Paul's house? I don't have a picture of that. But
Yeah. So after this, we went to Paul's house, and it was the same thing where the roads are horrible, and the bus, you don't even understand how bad that bus was. There was maybe what we would consider here like a 12-person bus, and there were 25 of us in there. So the roads are really bad, and it's the bush, and that kind of explains it, where it's just all greenery on the side. There's like huts as houses, and when we got to his house, it was, I'd say, made out of like dirt and mud and stuff like that. I mean, it was tiny. It was what you would maybe consider an office space, and there were 10 people living in that house. There were no beds, there were no mattresses. It was just everybody kind of pulls out a sheet at the night and sleeps on the floor. Their backyard consisted of a lot of trees and stuff, the banana trees and a couple different fruits and stuff that they grew. And there were chickens and goats kind of walking around. The bathroom was, I don't even know how to explain it. It was a hole in the ground, and it was surrounded by banana leaves to kind of give privacy. And a lot of us, we wouldn't even walk over there because it smelled so bad. There's no way of like flushing it or getting rid of everything. You just have to wait for it to kind of seep into the ground. And their kitchen, they had like a little wood structure, I guess. It was all outside. 3 stones for a fire, and that was it. I mean, that was the extent of their entire property and how they make a living off of that. I'll never understand. I think that was a really emotional moment for all of us to just kind of see that. I know there were a lot of tears shed. I've cried a lot. I know that for sure. Oh yeah, this made me cry even harder. So as we were leaving, we were all getting on the bus, and the entire village comes and gifts us with literally all the food that they had. It was bananas and papayas and avocados and cane sugar and everything. And because Mama Sarah had agreed to take their son, that was their thank you to all of us, to her specifically, and that was just like kind of their way of celebrating. So leaving there with all of their food, we had the understanding that they didn't eat now for the next few days, which was really, really hard. And they did it with a smile on their face. That's just kind of their custom, is to give everything and never look back at it, I guess, and that is what makes them excited. So it was a good moment. On their way home from Paul's house, we stopped at Mama Sarah's parents' house, and this was a picture with a couple of her daughters in their backyard. I'll do one more. So every morning for breakfast, they made us this fresh juice, and it was probably some of the best I've ever tasted. So on the last day, we decided that we wanted to learn how to make it too. So Mama Sarah's daughters taught us how to do it, and it's a lot of fruit. I mean, more than I've ever put into a juice. You have like 6 or 7 mangoes, something like 30 passion fruits, I think, lots of oranges and stuff like that. So we got to hand make that for the group, which was really fun.
Oh, this was, so we went on a safari, and we were staying in these huts, and when we woke up, what's this when we got off the bus?
No, I think it was.
This is when we woke up, and everybody really needed to stretch because we were just on the bus for like 8 hours, so we did some yoga. Oh, that was this wildebeest, and we were eating, so this was like the barrier, the warthog wildebeest, it's like the same thing. It's close. But we were eating breakfast. We were probably eating breakfast about 3 feet away from this, and it just came up to us, and it was just chilling with us.
It literally was as close as they are to it right now.
Oh yeah, it was.
It was too close. Allie was on the table.
That's giraffe. Oh, that was this big python. We went on our safari. It's littered across the road, and it was really hard to see. I didn't see it in person, but someone got a picture of it. And our guide told us that we would never see a python, and then we saw one. So it was, that's a big elephant. And then walked right across the road in front of our bus. That's an elephant eating. That's the world's most powerful waterfall, and I puked at the base of it. I had a rough time on our trip.
smile the whole time.
Yeah, but I powered through it. It was fun.
That's in Saudi.
This is the Church of Sa'i and all of our shoes and a couple people right by. This is one of the people in the dresses at the Church of Sa'i. Oh, this is all of us with our Uganda shirts that Leah gave us.
So tell them who Aaliyah is. Some people know, not everybody knows.
Aaliyah is the pastor at the church in Sa'i, and he runs everything there, and he's one of the best people you ever meet. He's super giving, very nice, always has a smile on his face.
It just always magically shows up somewhere. Just always there.
This is all of us up on the church, and all the girls in their new dresses or whatever those are. Colorful clothes.
Yeah, all the guys were gifted jerseys, and then all the girls were gifted dresses.
And what the Ugandans are holding are the hygiene kits that our church made for the women. So that was after we just gave them a tutorial on how to use them.
This is all of us playing in the church with their relatively newly paved floor so they can play with the balls.
This is a picture of Jeremiah with Max and Charlie, and he's just holding the football. Yeah, this is just another picture of some of the kids you were playing with down there in Sa'i.
What were they doing that they're so excited?
We were showing them Snapchat filters, and they were absolutely like amused by it. Well, that's just the kids drinking water. Those are just more kids that were down in Sa'i. Just kids drinking water.
And those are gifts that we brought. That's a Zion BBS shirt. That's some Beanie Babies that were gifted by you all.
I want to add to that really quick. So the little boy in the picture in the white shirt there, the water bottle that he's holding, Nathan and I were sitting there, and the mom pulled out this big jug of water. And we were really, really hoping that she wasn't going to pour it into the sippy cup, but she did, and it was brown water. I mean, like, wouldn't go near it with a 2-foot pole. Really bad, and he just chugged the whole thing. So it was hard to watch, like, that's what they drink when we're sitting there. And we were told not to drink any water that wasn't in a water bottle. So it really just goes to show, like, what their body has built up to.
These are just more kids that we saw down there in Sa'i. Like, they're just kind of there.
So I'll give this back to Charlie. He wasn't on this part of the trip. We went to the clinic that presently Dr. Aaliyah actually runs, and this is the whole deal. You're kind of seeing that there's no privacy really. They try to, but the pharmacy's there, the clinic. This would be comparable to going to like the nurse's office in a school, right? You're not going to go there for surgery. You're not going to go there for much other than that. This is the reason why Pastor Aaliyah wants to build the Zion Family Health Clinic. So the next couple of pictures you're going to just see. Here's some of their surgical equipment, not even wrapped in plastic, all of it, not sterile. Here's the books, as opposed to the digital medical records we have, that's theirs. And he was flipping through it to show us, and one of the 2-year-olds that had come in had gotten a hold of it and scribbled all over it. So a lot of their records were ruined. This is the future, this is the land that we purchased for the future Zion Family Health Clinic. And we're standing where the picture's being taken is facing towards the street. That little pit right there is the latrine that our church has had dug. So now they're ready for bathrooms to go in. And that is the well that we've put there. We were able to bless it. We were able to walk the land and do anoint it with oil and do a very powerful spiritual prayer on that land. And so what's exciting is come in March, you're going to hear a lot more. We have a spaghetti dinner kicking off this particular project that our church is working on. Claudia Werner is going to be available for conversation after. But this is really, really exciting for our church as we move forward into our partnership with Sa'i.
This was the handshake lines of the soccer games against the two villages. So they had a big, like, almost a soccer tournament building up before we got there so we could watch the championship game. And those are the two teams. So we walked out there and we gave all of them handshakes. And you can see the field that they're playing on isn't necessarily flat or like a soccer field as we would call it. And some of them are wearing cleats and socks. Some of them have no shoes. Some of them have no socks either. And so it kind of just shows like they don't really have any excuses. They just go out there and play. And this was all of us sitting and watching the game, which is kind of similar to what we like our Friday night lights at football games. This is like they go out there and they watch it, and like everyone's like involved and having a blast. But yeah, we were like some of the only white people they've ever seen. So we had most of the eyes, what felt like were on us more than the actual soccer game the whole time. And we were able to give a goat to the winning team. So this is Allie holding the goat. And we also had a trophy to give to the winning team. So that's all of us holding the trophy up in the middle of the big mosh pit after the Saï won.
So this is us at the market. It isn't really like anything we have here. It's just a bunch of little stores that they set up themselves, and it's just this whole area where you walk around and shop, and there's no set prices. What you do there is you bargain for the price, so you ask like how much for this, and they'll say however many shillings, and then you'll like try to drop it down, and then you like have this little bargain interaction with them. These are some of the shorts that we bought there. Some of them are right here.
That these folks can buy now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
This is at Mama Sarah's house. After we came back from the market, there was a bunch of these guys setting up with a stage, and they had instruments and speakers, and then they just started breaking out in a concert for us with cool lights, and we pretty much just sang and danced along with them for the rest of the night.
Who made an appearance?
Big D. Dan and Nathan were playing some music with the other guys there. So was Allie and Miss Danielle. They were singing in that picture.
So we'll let you see a little bit what that looks like.
So this is us after the concert with Mama Sarah. And then this is the whole group after the concert with all the kids that lived at Mama Sarah's house and some of the guys that sang with us and like gave us the concert.
So we asked them to do bunny ears, and they didn't really know what that was. Some of them like did it to themselves. They weren't sure. It's kind of an interesting cultural thing. That's thinking.
Oh, so this is the next morning as we were like getting ready to leave for the airport, and we're thanking Mama Sarah for doing all that she did for us.
We're going to show you a video, and I'm kind of bummed. I don't know why the sound isn't working, but we're going to play it anyway. This was put together by one of our students who couldn't be there, or couldn't be here today, but she put it together. So now we'll just answer questions. So if anybody has a question.
How many interpreters you guys have?
Who is it?
So in Uganda, they spoke a couple languages that like we have never even heard of, but like the main one that they spoke was Lugandan, and so there was always somebody around that could speak both English and Lugandan, and most people could speak English. So the schooling there's no public schools, so you have to pay for your schooling. So the less fortunate people don't get as much schooling or any schooling at all. So those people don't know how to speak English, but the more schooling you get, the more and better your English gets. So the more you know how to speak English.
I pass it to Addie. Do you want to the next one? Who else has a question?
Who are the kids that live with Marcia?
Well, there's quite a lot of people that live with Mama Sarah, but they have 4 girls that hung out with us that were closer to our age, and then there was 2 boys that were more their age, and then there was one, Gloria, who was, and Ruth, who were older than us. I don't know how many that is, but there was a lot of people that were there.
What was your favorite food that you had? Describe what it was.
Oh, there were so many good ones. Well, it's not food, but the juice was so good. Like, there's no question about that. But I think I like the samosas the best. They're like a breakfast kind of burrito, kind of. I'm not really sure. It's like a triangle burrito. I don't know, and the stuff inside is so good.
Yeah.
So if you were talking to other youth, maybe a year or 2 younger than you, and you were trying to, you had one point to make to them about why they should participate in a mission trip in, once they get a little bit older, what would that message be?
That's a good question. I think we here are so privileged. We have everything that we could ever want. We have it at our disposal, at our fingertips. We can go to a store at any point in time. And there you learn joy, I guess is the best way I could put it. They are so happy with nothing. Like, they had a bottle cap in their hands that they were playing with, and they could not have been more excited. So I would say to go on this trip to learn, it sounds cheesy, but to learn what life is really about. You kind of figure out why we come together for things, why people are so important, because they don't have things there necessarily. They rely on people to make each other happy. And I think that once you start to realize that part about life, you have a whole different view on everything.
want to say you guys are awesome.
Thank you, Big D.
Can we invite all the orange shirts up here? We want the whole team to come up.
I just want to follow up with the question about the youth. Why should the youth, the younger kids? But adults, as an adult, I came back and I told a lot of other adults what our experience was like. And I think the thing that I got out the most, I hear a lot of people in America saying, well, we need to take care of our own in America. And when you go over there, you realize God has no boundaries. There's a lot of people that need help. And it's not just in America, it's all over the place. So when you see a kid, we saw 2 kids that they really asked us to step up and even help. For these kids to be able to stay at Mama Sarah's, it requires money to do that. They need an education, they need food, they need shelter. And without that, we would send these 2 kids back to their villages in a bad situation. So
Wait, can we have a mic back over here?
yeah. So it really showed that the boundaries, it's America's, it's God. So it's not about America, it's not about Africa, it's about helping people.
Also, you really see how much how much faith really impacts their lives. Like their life revolves around their faith, and like they're always happy no matter what and how bad the situations they're in. We have, I think almost everybody in America has something, and they don't have anything, like most of them. And we're not, a lot of people here are not happy, but they have everything, and they have nothing, and they're the happiest people you will ever meet. And I don't think I saw one of them without a smile on their face, but it just really goes to show how they have life figured out, and we need to learn from them. So I'd say that's why people should go visit there.
And here we always want the biggest and the baddest thing, and so they had a little ice cream bike that went around, and it was everywhere, and they were just super small scoops, and usually here they would want to take it, and they would we're so selfish that we would just want the whole thing and we wouldn't want to share, and they would scoop it with their hand and give it to 4 different people, and it was one bite, but they shared it with everyone, and it was I feel we would never do that. And they're all so thirsty, and they would take our water bottles that had a little bit left, and they would each take a sip and pass it. One person wouldn't take the whole thing. So I thought that was something to learn.
Did you have a question, Nancy?
Yeah, I just had a question. You mentioned that Paul came to Mama Sarah's to work. Can you share a little bit more about that work piece and what that's about?
Sure. Repeat the question. We can't hear back here.
Oh, I'm sorry. The question regarding Mama Sarah's, that Paul came to work for her. What's that about, and how did he come to that point?
So Mama Sarah, they spoil us rotten when we're there. I mean, rotten. They even wash our shoes, which is very humbling. And Mama Sarah called out to a village pastor and asked if she had anybody who needed work that could come and help for the weeks we were there. And they first sent her a young boy by the name of Jonah, who's 14. And Sarah's ethical dilemma was, if Jonah stayed with her, she would be involved with human trafficking if he worked. But if he stayed with her and she provided him with love and an education, she would have to take him in to become one of her own children, and then it would cost money. So then she called back to the pastor and asked if there was an older child, and then she sent her the 16-year-old Paul, whom you saw. Well, the similar situation. Paul doesn't look very old. Paul looks like he's about 12. So Mama Sarah wanted us to help her make this decision, and she presented it that you need to see the full picture. So that's why we went out to that village to see where they came from. I don't think even Mama Sarah's children knew what they were going to get into that day. They were just as surprised as we are. So when you hear us talking about they don't have, really what we're referencing are the people in the bush. Mama Sarah's family lives in a different part of the area, and some of the people there they have like we have, but not everybody. So it was humbling for me to see Mama Sarah's children surprised at how poor Jonah and Paul were. And so when we went out to that village to get a full idea of what was going on, we met Paul's mom. And to see her look on her face when she saw Sarah, the first thing she said to her was, "You're not bringing him back, are you?" And then she placed her hand on Sarah's heart and Sarah's hand on hers, and Sarah said, "She just gave me her child." That was the message that was sent. It was out of her love for him. And so we made the agreement that we would bring Paul back, and we had somebody on our team step up and sponsor Paul for $200 a month. So Paul is now one of Mama Sarah's children, and he is going to be getting educated. He already has his little cubby set up for education. However, that's for 1 year. Our sponsor has lasted. So now our children, being humbled, threw out any money that they had left over to help pay for Jonah, the 14-year-old. And we've had other people on our team do some amazing fundraising to help pay for Jonah. But that's for a year. So this is an ongoing thing. We go out to dinner. When I have 5 people in my family, we think nothing of dropping $100 on a meal. And that's probably McDonald's. It's like, shoot, that literally would change a life. And so when we as a team got to see that change, and when we got to see these young folks say, "I'm willing to give up my money," it really made all of us adults go, "Well, what can we do more?" And Mama Sarah is walking the gospel. I can't even look at you without admiration. You live it so well. So to see these kids' lives right here changed, you knew it was coming. Stop. This is why we take global mission trips. Is because it really does take care of the U.S. as well as abroad. Did you want to add more? You can't talk either.
Did you want to say what your favorite thing was? Everybody else shared.
Oh wow, my favorite thing. I honestly think the whole experience was my favorite part. I think all of us would agree that people there are just unlike any person that you would ever meet here. They're all such beautiful people who just give and don't expect. They really do live by it's better to give than receive, which I think is a lesson that we all very much learned. So my next question is when we're going back.
Well, I've already been cornered by that one.
The nice part about bringing a group of leaders is that they're leaders. And so Mallory and Alec came in the week after we got back, cornered me and said, "We're not leaving your office until you tell us when we're going again." And I came up with 17 reasons why we can't go back right away. And they didn't care about any of them. So it looks like next December we're going back to Uganda. And so that invitation is for everybody and all ages, because you see the age range here. We've had, I think our oldest goer was 80 years old. And so we've had it doesn't matter, right, Mama Sarah? We can all be there. Anybody else have a comment they want to share?
So for anyone that knows me, I'm a person who's really stressed all the time. I like to be in control of everything at any point. I don't let go easily. And going into this trip, it was hard because I knew that they always say there is no such thing as Ugandan time, and there really is not time. We were told the bus ride was going to be 3 hours, and it took 10, and it sucked and it was awful. And you would go 12 hours without eating, or you would eat within a half hour of the last meal. But coming back here for me was really hard because you get so used to this, like she was saying, this faith-filled life where it doesn't matter what time it is, it doesn't matter what you're doing or who's around you. I was always at peace. And I know a lot of my extended family was really nervous about it because they were scared of the dangers of going, just like any normal person would be. But I can honestly say that there's nowhere that I've ever felt safer, whether it be emotionally, spiritually, physically. It was just the most humbling and warming place I've ever been at. And I think that's a big part that's changed me is in less than a 2-week span, I have learned to let go, that, you can't control every aspect of your life, but like Mama Sarah modeled, as long as you are kind and welcoming and you give to others, God provides, He takes care of you, and that's probably the biggest lesson that I walked away with, and it helped change me for the better, without a doubt.
Don't go away from her. And tell me, when you came back and you met with some of your friends, in school, neighbors or whatever, and you expressed this trip to them, what was their reaction?
It's hard because we can sit here and tell you all about it that we want. We can show you all the pictures that we want, but unless you are physically there, unless you are meeting the people and you are feeling everything that's around you, you don't understand it. And that's the same thing with them, is I would sit there and I would tell them these stories, and my friends are good people. I don't want to like make them seem bad. But 15 minutes later, they're talking about when they're going to go on their next shopping spree to Lululemon. And
have you thought of any ways that you can reflect Uganda as you're dealing with them that causes them to start off being a little perplexed, but then having some ability to understand what you're trying to express?
I think that the best way to do that is you live it, you model it. So I don't sit there and talk about my next shopping spree. I've like given up coffees because I used to go a lot, and now I'll go maybe once a week, every other week. You learn to treat people differently. So for me, I talk to people who I wouldn't usually talk to before. I mean, I didn't know Mallory at all before going on this trip, and now we talk like every single day. But outside of that, like people in school who I would never reach out to before. I think it's really just you model what you learn, and that's the best way that you can do it.
You got it.
We have Chris and Avis. Let's get some boys talking. Chris, go ahead.
For those who don't know Mama Sarah, maybe you can introduce.
Oh yes, that's part of it. We will.
Okay.
We'll do it now, everybody. Come on, Mama Sarah. We're running away from now. You can come up here. If you have never heard the Mama Sarah stories, we want you in the camera. If you've never heard the Mama Sarah stories, Mama has had over 70 children raised through her house, but she's raised hundreds, like over 500, because she's had schools. This woman is exactly what Jesus hoped we'd all be like. And she's Sam's mom. Sam, this lucky dog. Come here, Sam. You guys all see Sam around here. Sam's been living here for the last year. So Sam is one of Mama Sarah's biological children, and he is a lucky man, and you're a lucky mama. So, all right. Is there any, Avis, you had a question?
That was my question.
Oh, that was yours? Okay, yes.
So, having been on a mission trip myself, and I couldn't, articulate it any better than you have today. One of the long-standing questions is why not just send money, given that money is such a big deal? And so, maybe someone could address sort of what do you think the people we visit get out of your experience? What difference does it make that you went there for them?
I never really thought about it for them. I know I thought about it for me. So, what I hope is I hope that Jeremiah, the little boy who he's now my screensaver because I think about him probably every day, I hope that I might cry.
That's all right. Vicky broke the ice. No, for sure. We cry around here a lot, or at least I do.
I hope that he remembers us. I hope that if we do go back, that we get to see him, and I hope that he gets to see us and he remembers that we got to spend time with him, and I hope he remembers how big of an impact, or I hope he knows how big of an impact he made on my life, and I hope that I made a big impact on his life, because I don't know how to explain it. I hope that he remembers us, and I hope that he took something out of us being there as much as we took something out of meeting him.
But I think, in many ways, you're articulating kind of exactly what I hope you would say. And that is that, we can never really fully understand, sort of our own impact upon others. And just sending people a check is pretty impersonal, even though, in fact, it is, truly a major gift. but your presence, the time that you take, and the love that you show, is really sort of one way, we can sort of be the hand of God and Jesus in their lives. And again, just like many other things, we plant seeds, and they are seeds of love. And you did that.
I think, leading off of your question, I think a lot of the time I got this a lot when people found out I was going to Africa. They're like, oh, like, what are you building? What are you doing? Like, who are you? Like, what are you, like, I feel like we have this connotation here in America that us going over there is us doing something for them. And when we got there, as you can see on our team, it's not us impacting them, it's them impacting us. And when we come, I can't even. It's a beautiful thing to come back here and spread their message and really feel the impact. And just being able to share it with everyone else. I hope that you see that these people are amazing. I can't.
I think part of it is that they see us coming in and that they are actually seen, right? How many of us want to just be seen, to be heard, to be loved? And that's something that we were able to offer, that we went out there and we just played. And that's like the language. You don't need to speak, English. It doesn't matter what the language is. It's just play, it's just smiles, it's just laughter. And you feed off of that energy of each other. We needed them as much as they probably needed us to be seen. And so when you build that community and you link it from one place to another, it causes this ripple effect. All of these kids are changed because of it. They're all going to live their life a little bit differently. They're all going to make decisions a little bit differently than they had before. And I think some of the kids over there are going to be the same way. They're going to remember the ghost people that they saw and how they got thrown up in the air and that they were tossed this ball, and the kids who schooled our boys in basketball, that they're going to have a story to tell, that these white kids came and they played and we kicked their butts. It'll be fun, it'll be a good memory that they're going to have of us too. It's not we're these scary Americans who come over, take over the world, and because we get a bad image and stuff too. And so this was an opportunity for us too as Americans to come and show that we are loving too, and that we have wonderful, amazing youth and a lot to offer.
I know what I was going to say. I hope that the kids there know that we care about them, and that even though we're 12,000 miles away, I don't know how many miles away I made that up. I hope that we know, or I hope they know that we all want to come back and we want to help them again because they made an impact on our lives. And I hope they know that these random kids that could have or could have not ever met them, I hope that they know that we're going to care about them forever and that we want to help.
So we went with the idea that we were going to help them, that we were going to teach them all these things about sports, about English, about all these different things. And we got there and we realized that they were the ones that were teaching us about how to be a better person. They were beating us in the sports that we thought that we were going to teach them about. And the way that they lived their lives really taught us more than we could have ever taught them.
Claudia, will you stand up for a moment? This is Claudia Werner. If you don't know, I want you to know because she is leading our charge for the Uganda Family Health Clinic. Do you want to say a second?
Thank you. Really quickly, what amazing youth we have. I went on the mission trip a year ago, and the third one. This is now the fourth mission trip, led by Pastor Vicki. And it is amazing, and it is life-changing. And you do see the love of God in the people that you meet there. It just radiates from them. Anyway, you heard them talk about and bless the land that we've already purchased, and that we here at Zion, as members of this church, are going to move ahead and raise the money to build a health clinic there that will offer both medical and dental services. On March 8th, we're going to kick off that celebration and commitment as a church to build that clinic. And so I'm inviting you to come on March 8th at 12:30. We're going to have a spaghetti dinner here, and I'm going to share a little bit more about what we've already done and what we still have to do in order to build that clinic for over 3,000 people that will benefit from that in the little rural community of Said. So please come, join us. It'll be a free will offering, and hear all about it. Thank you.
And if you are moved to bless a child there, and if you want to support one of Mama Sarah's orphans, please see me. I will set you up with that. If you'd like to walk away with an item from Uganda, any donation you offer for one of these gifts will go directly towards the health clinic. But I am grateful that you came to hear our stories, and I am clearly grateful for all of these people. So one more round of applause.